2017 is a reboot of the 90s TV movie of the classic Stephen King book, It. So this year's version is just the same classic story of a group of friends growing up in Derry, Maine, trying to defeat an evil presence that appears every 27 years, except this time, it's the 80s. So I saw this movie last Friday in theaters. I'd seen clips of like the original 90s TV movie and stuff like that, and so I got a feel for like the Tim Curry portrayal and all that stuff. It seemed pretty cheesy to me back then, and I never read the original book, so I don't really have anything to weigh it against that much. But I gotta say, my favorite part personally of the movie was Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Clown. He was like great. I loved like the creepy lip face he did, and how like he had like the one lazy eye that looked at the camera and the other looking at the character. I also really liked how well they meshed the CGI with his performance well. In certain parts where he, does like weird jerky motions, or like his mouth extends out. No spoilers, of course. His mouth like extends out and stuff like that. It looked like pretty realistic. It like worked with his character, and he like, I don't know, he does like kind of a comedic effect with it that works. He's still like unsettling, but like the way he speaks, Georgie, it's like scary but funny at the same time. I don't know, I'm not a true 90s kid, so I'll probably get hate on this, but I'm not as biased towards the Tim Curry portrayal, so I don't know if it's like, a lot of people say it's really good, but it never really scared me. So I was trying to think of standouts for the cast, but I gotta say honestly, all the kids were pretty great. I mean, in the movie, they make all the adult characters extremely unlikable, which works with the plot. So there's none I really like remember that well, but all the cast of the kids were like, did a really great job. The kid that plays Georgie did it really well, I guess, for his age. The beginning was like really effective in making you feel like bad for Bill and him. The character that played Bill did really well too. I have a friend that used to have a stutter, and he did the stutter pretty well. It was pretty similar to what I remember my friend's stutter being like, so props for that. I mean, we all know the kid that plays Richie from Stranger Things. How many 80s movies is this kid gonna be in? And also, props to the kid that played Mike. I used to go to the same church as shows, and so nobody's there, but it was really surreal seeing him in this, to be honest. He did a good job. His character was probably my favorite. Now, since I said before, I don't remember reading the book, so I don't know how much to attribute to the original source of the story or to the actual film. But I will say, I liked a lot of the visual choices. My favorite shot of the movie actually was the title, like the zoom in from the sewers to the title, It. Honestly, it was just a really well shot and well sounding movie. I really liked how each of the things that Pennywise or It used to scare the kids were like specialized to the specific fear of the kid. I could totally imagine. The one that probably scared me the most was the creepy painting lady from the Jewish kid. Is that his only like, I should know his name. Painting? Oh my god. It reminded me a lot of like what is that called? The Enigma? It reminded me a lot of the creepy chick from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Oh god, that picture haunted my childhood. And like the people coming out of the side of the wall from like the people from the Enigma at Niagara Falls. So we talked about the pros, but where the movie does take a couple L's, I guess, is with the length. Some of the pacing was a little bit off. I mean, it wasn't boring, but it did like drag a little bit. I mean, I understand. I think I understand that the film, this only is like half of the book they put in the film, and the rest is when they come back as adults or whatever. But I feel like they could have chopped off, I guess, a little bit of the end, or I don't know. I didn't feel like it needed to be 2 hours and 15 minutes. And also the ending with them ganging up on Pennywise kind of did piss me off. I mean, we saw earlier in the film that he can like, kind of section them off or whatever and like scare them one-on-one and stuff like that. But at the climax, he kind of just like lets himself be killed by them, honestly. I mean, I don't know how much I can blame, again, Stephen King for that or, this film, but I'll have to read the book to see. I don't know. Honestly, this film did scare me at points. I haven't watched horror movies in a while because they usually suck, number one, or, they usually don't scare me, too. The scene at the beginning with Georgie was super ominous. I mean, my dog has like a huge fear of sewer drains, and I joke with my sister or whatever, like, she must have watched It. But yeah, that always like scared me. I didn't even know about It, but I was always afraid of sewer drains. So yeah, there was 2 parts in this movie that actually scared me. One part was the one part that got me, like, I like jumped out of my seat almost, was the scene in the garage. That was actually pretty scary, I will say. It got me. And then there's another scene in the when they were at a house later in the film, which I won't spoil for you, but it actually got me too. They really utilized the R rating in this movie. So when I went to see the movie, there was like a row of like teenage girls sat in front of us, and they kept like screaming at every jump scare and stuff, which, you know, people are allowed to do or whatever, but it was like to an obnoxious level, like overreactionary screaming and stuff like that. And there was like a lull in the audio, like right when I like leaned over to my sister, and I was like, "This bitch," and she heard me, I guess, and she turned around and whispered, "Sorry." And then her and her friends proceeded to continue screaming just as loud throughout the rest of the film, but whatever, you know, movie theaters. So honestly, this movie is definitely worth seeing in theaters. It has a solid cast, great editing, and it's definitely worth seeing it. It gets a 9 out of 10. So when we were on the way home from the theater, me and my sister were like theorizing what form it would take to scare us, like specifically or whatever. And you know, I'm not really specifically scared of like spiders or anything like that, so I couldn't really think of any. And then we got home, and Hurricane Irma came to visit, and the power was out for like a day. That was it. That was it. What's next? Bill Skarsgård is Penny.